So pop samples in drill is nothing new, at least to my knowledge. Some of the more notable ones being Toxic by Britney Spears, and I don't remember which Pink Pantheress song. I think it's Just For Me by Pink Pantheress was sampled in Obsessed With You by Central C. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the song, but pop songs are often sampled. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of this album called Punk Goes Drill by Polo Perks. Very great artist. A lot of the songs, or some of the songs on here are produced, some of the songs... Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. Some of the songs on here are produced by a producer called Evil Gianni. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And Tommy Too Hottie. These are both very good artists, and some of the songs I noticed sampled. Everlong is, well, sampling Everlong by the Foo Fighters, and Mr. Brightside is sampling Mr. Brightside by the Killers. And it's very good. And this is by no means an Evil Gianni or a Tommy Too Hottie tutorial, but if you want to make drill beats that sample pop songs like you see basically everywhere nowadays, it's not as hard as it seems. The song I picked is Maps by Maroon 5 because I figured it might be easy. First, I pitched it up from, it was like D major to G minor. It's only like 4 semitones. I really don't know jack shit about music theory, so if you do, I'm sorry. And I upped the BPM. A good BPM for drill music is anywhere between like 138 and 148 usually. Sometimes you can pull it off faster. I've seen drill songs with like a 154 BPM, but you can tell that it's faster than most drill BPMs. But a lot of the like Central C or like Digga D style like drill songs, not like the regular rap or shit like that, but you'll see those in like 140-ish BPM. So the first thing I did after I sampled it up and everything is I slapped this EQ on it that kind of accentuates these middle frequencies and cuts out the highs and lows where like kicks and other stuff that you don't want are. And it sounded something like this. So yeah, nothing like too crazy. The next thing I did was I threw in a sampler, and you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can tell I'm using BandLab. I don't really give a shit about fucking anything, but like I said, it's not as hard as it sounds. So the sampler only has like 3 sounds on it because you can make a very bare bones drill track with not too many drum sounds. I have a kick, I have a snare, and I have a hi-hat. This hi-hat can be exchanged with like a Pierre perk or like a counter snare. You'll see why in a second. When you go into the sampler, you'll see where there's a pattern with these hats. These are the hats, snare, kick. These hats have a pattern where it's 1, and then there's an empty 2 space, 1, empty 2 space, 1, empty 1 space. And then it kind of keeps going through this pattern. You can add flares like spaces and like rolls, but the general pattern is this. And you get the whole gist of it. I'm sure you've heard that pattern numerous times with different flares in drill tracks from people like Heady One, K-Trap, etc. And like I said, you can use a counter snare, you can use a perk, you can use whatever you feel like using as long as it like actually fits. Like I think in the Tijuana Freestyle by Clave, like a tom is used. That's not really a drill song, but it incorporates a similar pattern of drumming. Might be more of like a dancehall pattern. I don't know. Then we're moving on to our snare. Usually your snare or clap, I just use a snare because I like the way this one sounds. Usually it would be on your 3rd and 7th bar in like your regular rap songs and a lot of pop songs, whatever the fuck it's in. For drill, for some reason, a lot of people put it on the 8th bar instead, which is completely fine. In fact, I think it's actually like it's a recommendation, at least on my end. It just sounds cleaner in drill music for it to be on the 8th because it helps with that bounce. This whatever sound you have here doing this pattern as your main bounce, and everything else is kind of just like alternating off of it, unless you're infusing it with something like Jersey, in which case the kicks would probably help with your bounce. But yeah, so instead of it being on like the 3rd and 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's going to be on your 8th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, it helps with the bounce a little bit. I'll play it again. And yeah, that kind of, I don't have any of the kicks on here, but let me go ahead and go over to the one that has the kicks on it. We'll play that. So a couple general rules of thumb is that you'll see this snare clap and any other snares you may add. Let's say I had like 3 or 4 extra snares and like rolls or whatever for a more complex drill song. The kick generally should not collide with the snare because I'll explain to you why. that doesn't sound good. I don't know music theory. I don't know jack shit about fucking anything, and that sounds like shit. So the general thing, unless this is like a soft snare or a counter snare for this, which case they can clash. Because this is a hi-hat counter snare perk at the end of the day, but like these kinds of snares on your 3rd and 8th bar and your excess snares. Anything outside of this pattern, this kick should not really like clash with, unless you can make it sound good. If you can make it sound good, by all means do it. But you'll see here, it never clashes with the snare. And it kind of helps with the bounce a little bit. Try and make it help with the bounce. Don't go too crazy with it. In a lot of drill songs, you'll see that between this first and this like 4th piece of it is where most of your kicks will be, and there's usually an empty space. That's good to help with the bounce, I think. Once again, do I know anything? Absolutely not. But it does help, at least in my knowledge. In a lot of drill songs you hear, there's not a lot of heavy kicks in the middle of these things. It's usually the start and end of a little, I really don't know what these are called, but there's always a lot of spaces, and it's different than regular rap. You don't have to have kicks out the fucking wazoo. But one of the things that is also kind of important is 808 slides. Now, there are tutorials for FL Studio, Ableton, I think Pro Tools, shit like that, on how to make your 808 slide. You'll know what sound I'm talking about when I play it. But on BandLab, I don't think there's really a way to do it. There's also like no way to even map an 808 to a MIDI unless you like had a physical MIDI here. You can't do like it is on FL Studio and just click it in. You have to have like a physical MIDI. So I'm not bothering with it. I just pulled these 808 slides off of this little area right here, the BandLab sound library. You go into loops and you hit that. I'm pretty sure I changed the pitch so they match. If I didn't, I don't really give a shit. I made this beat in like 10 minutes. But yeah, so here's all the 808 slides. That's kind of what I'm talking about. And then there's this one as well. Now, with all the percussion, this is what it sounds like. So you kind of get the gist. Now the whole beat together will sound a little something like this. Sometimes simple is better because the missing instrument is the artist's voice. I think Nick Mira said that. If he didn't, I'll gladly take that quote. But yeah, that's basically what the beat sounds like. Once again, this is not like a Evil Gianni or a Tommy Too Hottie tutorial, but definitely go check those artists out. They make great drill beats. Definitely check Polo Perks' album out, but this is basically just a gist of how like you can sample pop songs into drill, and making drill music is really easy. It's really easy to do it, but you have to have your own sauce to make it good. But yeah, without further ado, be good people and peace out.